Hey guys, my name's Nova, this is Film Express, and I just want to take a second and apologize to you guys for a little break that I've been taking off of YouTube. I've been writing a new script that I got hired to write, and I've been working on it pretty extensively. I just finished it yesterday, so I'm right back in the game now, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the new Jonah Hill movie, STUTZ. STUTZ is a new Jonah Hill documentary straight on Netflix that explores his relationship with his therapist, but more importantly, it focuses on the therapist itself, the tools that he brings to the game, and his perspectives on mental health and mental healing. This is a beautiful, beautiful portrait of a gentle and tender man who understands the mind, and he understands the tools required to help heal somebody. And he has a very, very interesting and delicate way of communicating things. I'll be honest, right off the bat, within the first 15 minutes, I almost wasn't sold on this movie. It almost was coming off in a way that was a little bit phony, a little bit forced, and even Jonah Hill's tone in the film, it was a little bit questionable, I would say. But then the film does a really interesting thing, and within that first 15 minutes, Jonah Hill and STUTZ, they break the fourth wall and they have a discussion between themselves where Jonah Hill really kind of decides that he has to be more honest and approach this in a more naturalistic way. And the rest of the film, after that moment, becomes a really genuine, heartfelt, and personal exploration of grief, of healing, and again, the tools that we need in order to help ourselves. It's really interesting that Jonah Hill spends a lot of the time at first kind of deflecting questions about himself and about his grief. If some of you know, Jonah Hill lost his brother about 5 years ago to a brain aneurysm or a brain embolism, and he died very suddenly, and Jonah Hill's been very affected by this. He's been in therapy this whole time. He's been talking to this man STUTZ, and he's been on a path towards, healing. I respect Jonah Hill quite a lot for this. It's pretty interesting to see him evolve over the years, from that silly guy that we saw in one scene of 40-Year-Old Virgin to his he had a role in a movie called Accepted. He started bursting onto the scene with plenty of roles in the Apatow crew of films, specifically Superbad, and then he also had a star-making turn in The Wolf of Wall Street. His career has been super interesting because then he started directing films, and Mid-90s is a film that I actually really like, a film that's pretty personal to me and something that kind of echoes some of my experiences growing up. The film is, more importantly though, this time it's about the therapist STUTZ, and he has a bunch of different tools to help a person kind of get in touch with their emotions, tools that he communicates for us to use them in our day-to-day to help ourselves heal with some of the pain that we're all harboring. I know a lot of people, and myself, who've been to therapy. Having a therapist like STUTZ is something that I feel like most people would have kept this a secret to themselves, because he's such an incredible tool, and you almost want to it's like a secret weapon. You want to keep it to yourself and not share it and not lose that. But I think it's super revelatory of Jonah Hill to want to share his therapist with the world and these tools with the world, because he knows that many people can really benefit from this. A lot of people could argue, why would I watch this if I can go sit in therapy myself? And sure, that's a valid argument, but I think that there are definitely lessons to learn here, and there's definitely going to be some takeaways for almost everybody in this movie. There's some really quiet and emotional moments in this film. There's one moment where Jonah Hill and STUTZ are going back and talking about the day that Jonah Hill came to therapy, speaking about his brother's death, and they even snapped a picture of him on that day, which is kind of weird, I would say, but for the effect that it had. Now Jonah Hill looks at that picture 5 years later, and he's having this moment of seeing how much he's changed since then. STUTZ puts it in such a beautiful way when he says, that's a picture of victory, even if it doesn't look like it. And to me, that's a scene that almost, made me tear up. I could really kind of relate to that moment, because we're all changing every day. We're evolving in some way or another, right? So to look back on yourself 5 years ago, especially in face of tragedy, it must be really hard, honestly. That's the only way I can put it. So throughout the film, there's pictures of some of the imagery and tools that STUTZ uses throughout his therapy sessions. And the poor man's got Parkinson's, and he's still dealing with it every day in a very productive way. He still manages to go to work and not let that debilitate him in any way. I find that super inspiring. It says so much about his type of character, that he still wants to just get out there and help people. He's such a gem of a human being, honestly. We really need more people like him. It's like an angel on earth type of thing. If I do have some gripes with the film, I wish it wasn't in black and white. I wish that there were some more B-rolls, and I wish that some of the music was different. There was a section in the middle of the film where the music was just so distracting, but it's not a huge problem with the movie. You know, this is just me talking about from a filmmaking standpoint. On a personal level and on a message level, on a thematic level, this film is definitely worth watching, I would say. There's an overall message and sentiment here that I feel like a lot of people might need. So with that being said, I think you should all go watch STUTZ. The fact that it's available for free on Netflix when therapy does cost hundreds of dollars, it's very, very worth checking out. And I have to say that the dedication at the end, it kind of got me emotional. It was framed in a beautiful way, and the movie leaves you with a lot. So guys, my name's Nova. That's my review of the new Jonah Hill documentary STUTZ. This is Film Express. I hope you guys had a great time listening, and I hope you guys check this movie out. I'm definitely going to be back with some more reviews soon. So catch you guys later. Take care.